Israeli officials are set to visit Cairo to discuss the escalating ceasefire tensions as humanitarian conditions in Gaza deteriorate amid the aid blockade. Israel's suspension of aid has sparked accusations from Hamas, which called the move a coup against the ceasefire, while Israel insists negotiations must be tied to hostage releases. Meanwhile, health officials in Gaza reported that Israeli forces killed 4 Palestinians in separate attacks in the north and south, with the Israeli military claiming it targeted individuals planting explosives. Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar dismissed warnings of famine in Gaza as a lie, maintaining that there is no starvation crisis despite the aid blockade. Egypt has urged the EU to pressure Israel to uphold the ceasefire agreement, emphasizing full compliance with the January deal. With no aid arriving, Gaza residents rushed to markets and UN warehouses, fearing renewed conflict and a worsening humanitarian crisis. Palestinian Islamic Jihad accused Israel of sabotaging the ceasefire, reiterating its commitment to the agreement. Hamas, meanwhile, held Israel responsible for the hostages' fate, warning that the blockade would have consequences for Gaza's population and prisoners held by resistance groups. Prime Minister Keir Starmer is hosting a high-level summit in London today, bringing together international leaders to strengthen support for Ukraine and work toward a just and lasting peace. The summit follows a week of intense diplomacy, including Starmer's visit to Washington, where he engaged in discussions with President Trump on UK and European security. Leaders from Ukraine, France, Germany, Italy, Poland, Canada, and several other nations, along with NATO and EU representatives, are attending. Talks will focus on military aid, economic pressure on Russia, and security guarantees to ensure Ukraine's long-term defense. Starmer has reaffirmed that no negotiations on Ukraine's future will take place without Ukraine's involvement and has emphasized the need for Europe to take greater responsibility for collective security. With the UK committing to spend 2.5% of its GDP on defence by 2027, Starmer underscored the importance of stepping up support for Ukraine, including the possibility of deploying UK troops. As the war reaches a crucial turning point 3 years after Russia's invasion, Starmer and allied leaders are pushing for stronger European security commitments alongside ongoing cooperation with the United States. In today's top stories from Pakistan, Chief of Army Staff General Asim Munir urged students to focus on self-responsibility and avoid baseless criticism, condemning online campaigns targeting the military as tools for spreading anarchy and false information. Meanwhile, PMLN Senator Irfan Siddiqui states PPP is unlikely to quit the ruling coalition, despite ongoing disagreements over unfulfilled promises, emphasizing the party's desire to avoid another national crisis. In other news, Karachi police used tear gas and baton charging to disperse 2 religious groups clashing over mosque possession in Sadr. The conflict was resolved through an agreement involving police and district authorities. In related news, Karachi authorities imposed fines of over 1.5 million rupees and arrested 14 hoarders for price gouging during Ramadan, enforcing new meat prices after several essential items had not seen full price enforcement. Stay tuned for more updates.